Welcome back, guys. So this week we're going to talk about systems and goals. And for a long time, I knew, like, everybody talks about goals. We know about goals from a little kid, right? But nobody teaches you how to achieve goals. I don't feel like. I think it's better now. Like, I hope a lot of people are very aware of Atomic Habits and read that book by James Clear. It's fantastic.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, for sure. And I just picked up Jen Sincero's book, You're a Badass at Habits, I guess, or at Goals. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Habits, isn't it? She has a new one out.
Oh, I hadn't seen the new one.
Yeah. I haven't started reading it yet. So, and for high achievers like us, like, we're told you create a goal, you go after a goal. And for most of my life, it was like, okay, create a goal. I want to make $10 million. And that's where it ended.
Great, that's a fantastic
because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know there was any other steps. You're just like, okay, I want this goal. And what happens is we move to this place of goal greed is what I'm going to label it. We're greedy to achieve our goal and we're in a rush to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we don't believe we can have it. So we're in a hurry to get it, to prove to ourselves that we can have it and we're capable enough to get it.
Yeah.
Right. And I've learned the older I get, like, goals are a journey. Unless you set goals that are like, drink water today.
Well, that's still a good goal, but yes.
But like, most of us have big goals.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you feel like you're failing. Every day that I don't have my $10 million, I feel like I'm failing.
Yeah.
And then we get discouraged. And then we quit. And I think that happens with weight loss. People like set the weight loss goal in January. I want to lose 20 pounds. And by the time February 1 hit, we've only lost 5 pounds. So then we're discouraged. And we start getting lax and we start quitting. So that's what we want to talk about today is, like, how do you actually set a goal? How do you achieve that goal? And what does systems have to do with going after a goal?
Exactly. I think you're exactly right. So I was taught, like, to set your sights high, right? Like, what goals do you want to accomplish? And so it's like your vision boards are like the things that you want. You write out all your goals.
Yep.
But then there's not a lot of, like, backup there, right? Like, they tell you, and then, you move into, I don't know, when I got older, they're like, okay, make your goals, what is it called? Smart goals. Yeah, like, make them quantify.
What does the SMART stand for? Something measurable. I don't even know. That's how well that SMART thing works.
And then it's got a time, right? Like, the T, you have a time. You're like, okay, I set this goal, I'm gonna have measurable results in a certain amount of time. Okay, great.
How do you make a SMART goal for $10 million?
Yeah, but still, how do you actually, like, get there? Right. And so I know before you introduced the idea of systems to me, and you're like, Carmen, you need a system to get there. And I was like, okay, well, I heard you and I started it, but it didn't, like, I don't know, come together. Until recently. And it started to kind of come together when I realized, okay, in order to achieve that goal that I want, right, it's not just like setting up it's setting up the steps to get there, but it's like, okay, what do I need to do? What time, what energy, what effort do I need to put in to get that step, right? So you're one step closer to achieving, right, the goal that I have in mind. And I was like, oh, see, nobody, like, I don't know, kind of, you get to break it down to whatever steps it is for that goal, but creating that system is you're making it, something that's easy and simple, right? Or like something that's manageable on a day-to-day basis to work towards that goal. Right.
So can you give us an example of a goal you have in a system that you created?
Okay, so I have a goal to, like, get my steps in, right?
Okay.
So you think, so my goal is to get that 10,000 steps in every day, right? Which like is the average, right? Not average, but that's like everybody's goals, like 10,000 steps. And I was up to like 6,000 steps before I broke my ankle like a year ago, right? And so like I'm slow to get back on that process. But you're like, okay, I'm gonna get my steps in because I know it's gonna make me feel better. But sometimes I've noticed that if I try to do too much at once, where I'm like, all right, I'm gung ho, I'm gonna get these steps in before 9, I'm paying by the end of the day, right? Like my ankle is not happy with me. It's like, oh, that was not a good idea. Okay. So I realized that a simple system was like, okay, I don't need to get my 10,000 steps in like before 10. I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk my dog, I'm gonna like, clean my office, I'm gonna like do all these things. I was like, okay, well, if I know that, okay, walking around the park, right, is 3,000 steps, right? I do that twice. And now, I've started tracking, like, okay, well, I know like on average, like just walking around my house, I can get, 3,000 steps. And so if I just add those little pieces together, it's like, oh, if I'm not paying attention, right, by the end of the day, oh, I've already hit 10,000 steps, and I didn't have to track it. I didn't have to like put this energy in of like, oh, yeah, did I get it, right? Like, did I do it? And then feel that like guilt that I didn't get there, right? So I mean, like a simple example, but still, I know that that's gonna help to like meet my movement goals, right? To a healthier lifestyle. And so like that was a big piece for me. Especially, since I was a little bit like cautious and worrisome, with having an injury. And so but I've realized that by just doing those small things every day, right? Like, makes it a lot easier. To like meet those movement goals that I want. So.
James talks about it to 1%. We change 1% every day. That's it to reach the goal. Which is hard. Like I get the concept, but it's also like it's not tangible for me. Like, well, what does 1% even mean?
True.
Right? But I think for me, it just maybe is like something, right? Just some effort today, right? Is the 1% effort. Because I get really locked up in this consistency. You hear this like, to be successful, you got to be consistent. Well, my brain translate consistency is the same as perfectionism. So consistency in my brain is perfectionism. You have to do it 7 days a week. 21 days, 34 days. If you miss a day, like you've messed up.
You like have to start over.
Yes. That's why 75 hard is not great for personality types like me, because it's just like it's reinforcing that perfectionism mentality. So I've really tried to get coaching on. It's about consistency is not for me. What was the word she used? You have something to say, so you can like interject while I'm thinking of this word.
Okay, I was just gonna say. So I tell folks when we're making changes, oftentimes 100% is not sustainable.
Oh no.
Right? Like everybody ebbs and flows, right? Like nature, the world around us ebbs and flows. Right? So it's not always realistic and it's not sustainable. Like people may be doing great, like especially if I put them on an elimination diet, or it's like, they may do great for like the 4 weeks or even just 2 weeks. But then after a while, you start to change your habits and then people will get discouraged. Right. So I'm like, I'm not asking you to be 100%. Our body doesn't need us to be 100%. Right. Just the majority of the time.
Yeah, I think the word that my coach used for me was persistent.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like
not consistent, but
consistency is
yeah.
better than consistency. And like I identify as a very persistent person. Like
Yeah.
I will not quit until I get what I want.
Going. Yeah, you keep going.
So then for me, it's just like persistency. Like as long as I'm persistent, I will get what I want. Consistency is still locked up in perfectionism for me, and I can't be perfect.
Yeah.
And so then that leads this rabbit trail of like, if I can't be consistent, then I can't have what I want.
Right.
Yeah. So persistency is the word I use for myself.
I like that. Yeah.
Because I know I won't quit. I may not do it every single day for 41 days.
Right.
I may miss a few days, but I'll get back to it and I'll do it.
That's okay. Yeah.
So in terms of goals, what I've learned, I've had like I love Atomic Habits. Obviously I love mindset coaching and getting to the why. Why do we have this goal? Why do you want to walk 10,000 steps a day? And I think a lot of times we're like, well, I just want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight?
Right.
Why is that important to you? Well, I just want to, because I'll feel like I get this one because I'll just be more confident. Why is the number on the scale going to create confidence for you? Right? Like just really digging into that, like why, so you can find a really good anchor.
Right.
Like you love this why so much. So like for mine, like why do I want to make $10 million? Because I want to live a life that's above average. Why do I want to live a life that's above average? Is because I want my niece and nephew to experience a life that's above average. Why do I want that? So they can see it's possible for them. They can see a world filled with possibility instead of a world filled with limitations. And that's very important to me so that they can go live lives that they fulfill their dreams. That's my why.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to me. So A is first the why.
Yes.
Right? Get into the why. And then B is like you figure out your goal and then you have to reverse engineer it. So 10 million. Okay, what do I have to do to get 10 million? Well, I have to make $1 million. What do I have to do to make $1 million? I have to make $500,000. What do I have to do to make $500,000? I have to make, or not $500,000. What do I have? 500,000. So from 500,000, I got to make 100,000.
Yeah.
Well, to make 100,000, I got to make 50,000. To make 50,000, I got to make 25,000. Right? Yeah. So I just keep reverse engineering it, and then I create the action steps. What is it going to take for me to make 1,000?
Right.
What is it going to take for me once I hit that 1,000 now to make 5,000?
Right.
Right. And so, and I also push a lot right now is what is out of sight is out of mind.
Okay.
So if it's stored on our phone, it's out of sight and it's out of mind. Right. And our brain is always going to want to default to its lowest level of training because that is the most efficient way.
Conserving energy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So we have to be able to create what we want. We have to be intentional about it. To be intentional, we have to see it. It has to be present in our mind all the time. So I learned this from David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. What I teach my clients now is like, okay, what our goals and all these steps, like the big goal needs to be written out somewhere, and then the steps need to be written out somewhere where you visually see this, because they become a to-do list, right? Opportunities to check things off. Okay, so then I want you to make it wherever, Canva, wherever, like a vision board with pictures, and it goes on your phone as your home screen and your screensaver, right?
You can see it, yeah.
And then it goes on your bathroom mirror. So on my mirror, I did a reel about this on my Instagram page, but on my bathroom mirror, I have 2032's goals, right? Which is like to take ND to Paris. That's 10 years. I broke that goal down then. How much is it for a private jet? How much is it going to cost me? How much money do I want to each give them cash? Yeah. So I know exactly how much money I have to have for that trip. And then I have another post-it note, like I can't remember. It's 5 years from now. It's like taking them to Disney. What do I need to have on that? So those are the big goals. They got the
Right.
steps. And then I have other post-it notes that are, what is August goals? What is September's? What's October's goals? What's November and December? From there, I make one post-it note a week, and it has on it, what do I need to achieve this week to get to these goals, right? These are the small micro level steps.
Right.
So David Goggins calls this the mirror of accountability, because you have to go look in that mirror and hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Right. And I see those goals multiple times a day.
Yeah.
They're always on my mind. Right.
Yeah.
It's not out of sight, out of mind. It's like, I see this, I see where I'm moving towards, and I get to check off. Right. So I have a post-it note that has 10 million. Well, then it has 500K, it has 100K, it has 50K, it has 25K, 20K, 15, 10. Well, I've checked off 10, 15, 20, 25, right? Yeah. So my brain is getting reinforcement.
You're getting that
we're
dopamine kick. Like, hey, I'm achieving that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are like, so it stays out of this, like, well, we don't have our 10 million yet. We don't have our 10 million yet.
Yeah. Makes it more tangible.
Nope. We see we're getting closer. Right. Yeah. So that's the big push that I have for my clients, is like, it's got to be visual. You got to see this stuff every single day, because when it is out of sight, it's out of mind, and we go to our lowest level of training.
Yeah, that's true. I could definitely see that. Yeah. And I think that, you know, as you're putting together that, even that weekly posted every week, it's a little bit different. Yeah, but you're in tune with that, so you're already like laying the foundation or those systems together to achieve that, because you're constantly being reminded and working towards that ultimate goal.
And so, like, on my post-it note, that's where kind of the accountability comes in. So when I hit the end of the week and like half of those things are crossed off, and the other half, like, I have to, like, you didn't do this. So now, like, some of them, like, I have 2 goals, like, one is a 6-pack and one of them is muscle ups. And those have their own post-it note, and they're broken down, all the steps needed to get there, right? So then the micro steps get transferred to that week's post-it note. So if I see, like, oh, I didn't work out 5 times this week. Or, oh, I didn't hit my macros. I know that's 1 week that I've pushed away from achieving that goal.
I see.
I
see. So it's so you're constantly translating, right? That's a way to measure, like, that 1%, if you will, like in the Atomic Habits. Like, okay, maybe that's flipped a little bit, or the inverse of that, but it helps you see that consistency, right? So then when you get frustrated that you haven't met, right, or you're not where you thought you should be, you can go back and look, like, oh, okay, I'm not there because we slipped a couple of times, like a couple of things. We haven't been persistent to achieve where we think we should be. Okay, I like that. I like that visual aspect, because you're exactly right. Like, on a day-to-day basis, right, like, we get bogged down with XYZ, you name it, and before you know it, you're like, oh yeah, I have this goal, right? But it's like in the back of your mind, or like, oh yeah, when I get back to that notebook, or when I get back to that pile, then we'll visit it then. I like that.
So it's creating systems. That's what the whole point is. It's like, you've got to make it systematic. If you can make some of it automatic, I mean, we have so much technology, right? If you can make that automatic, it's going to set you up for more success, because you want to minimize the decisions, and you want to minimize the opportunity for your brain to choose something easier. Right?
You make it easy, you make it simple. So that's where I think breaking it down to those really small steps, you're like, that may not feel like a big deal at the beginning, but you're working towards that. But the more automated, the more like it becomes a habit,
Mhm.
you'll achieve your goals in no time. It's
Right.
like, yeah, this is just, it's part of when we say like make lifestyle changes.
Yep.
That's just part of what you do now, right?
Yep.
Like it's not this thing that you are like taking away, or like this I don't know, sometimes it feels like an iceberg when you
Yeah.
you know make changes, but if they're persistent, and they're those small systematic changes, it's more sustainable over time to achieve that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, guys, go create your system so you can achieve your goals. See, this would be, we're in week 2 of the camp. So if you've listened to any of the podcasts, we're right in the middle of fall break virtual camp for adults. It's all about stress resilience and us giving you all the tools you need to create stress resilience in your life. It's not too late to join us. You have access to the replays from the last week. There's lives, again, replays if you can't make the lives. So join us. The registration is in the show notes. And if you are someone that has big goals and you've been struggling to achieve them, I will tell you that our New Beginnings program, our coaching program, is where you belong, because that's what we do in our program is we get mindset, we work on mindset, we work on some system stuff. We also test and get your neurotransmitters and your hormones, your brain chemicals, on an optimum playing field so you can start having the thoughts and the emotions you need to create the results faster. The whole goal of the program is to help people achieve goals. Why do I want that in our program? Is because I believe our goals and our dreams are our destiny, and when we start living in our destiny, we start being impact makers in the world. And that's why the world isn't where we want it to be. It's because so many people are not living in their dreams and destiny. They're stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we limp along. So that's what this whole program is, to help people that want a different life, that want to have above average, that want to achieve things and leave impact. This program has built everything in to help you create results at a faster pace.
Exactly. Give you the maximum capacity to achieve those results quickly.
Yes. Yeah. And we have client after client. I can tell you guys, we'll just do an episode over that. Like goals that people have wanted for years, achieve in less than 8 months.
I was going to say less than a year. Yeah. 8 months. Yeah. Less than that.
Yep.
Yeah. 6 months.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode.